today I'm going to talk about set point and it not being static until you're fully grown. A lot of people will message me and say, I've reached my pre-ED weight, why am I still gaining? Or I've reached my pre-ED weight, can I now maintain? And the answer is, if your pre-ED weight was before you were 25, you were still growing at that point. If you're still under 25, you still will be growing. 25 is kind of the rough estimate of the time that you will stop, growing and developing from a child into a woman. Obviously, children are a lot smaller than women, and teenagers are smaller than women. So your set point is a kind of a moving thing until you stop growing. Obviously, when you're say, 14, your set point might be 20, and then you might grow, and at 18 your set point might be 22, and then by the time you're, say, 23, your set point might be 24, because you're growing as a person, you're developing, and women have more fat deposits around their body than children do. You fill out as you grow, and a lot of women have more fat around their hips and thighs and breasts than teenagers do, and definitely obviously more than children do. So your weight will be increasing. This isn't you getting fatter. It's you growing. Your bones grow. Your muscles grow. Your body is gonna get bigger, because adults are bigger than children, obviously. So when you say, I've reached my pre-ED weight, if you were 16 at the time that your eating disorder developed and now you're 24, your weight is, almost certainly going to be higher than when you were at the weight you were at 16. So you can't expect to, go back to your pre-ED weight if this was before you were 25. If you were 27 when your eating disorder developed and now you're 32, you can most likely expect to go back to the weight you were before your eating disorder developed. But if you're under 25, which most people are when they develop eating disorders, you're not, your pre-ED weight is not your set point, because your set point is not static until you finish growing, which is about 25. And that's also why minimums are higher for people under 25, because they're still growing. They need that energy to still grow. That's why minimums are 3,000, and people women over 25 are 2,500. Obviously, I've only talked about women in this video. That it still applies for men too. Men, obviously, they don't usually store as much fat as women. They don't have hips and thighs and breasts like us. Obviously they do have hips and thighs, but you get what I mean. But the same still applies. The body is still growing and developing. The set point is still not static until 25. You are going to be heavier. Obviously, you're still growing from a child into a man. So the same thing, still applies, apart from obviously our body types are different. So yeah, please don't use your pre-ED weight as this kind of this is my set point. This is going to be the weight that I'm at when I'm recovered, because that isn't the case. You will expect your weight to climb until you hit 25. I just thought that was important, because I haven't really discussed that before in terms of set point. And I have so many people thinking that, they say they've reached their pre-ED weight, but obviously they were under 25, and they think that that's going to be their set point, but obviously it's you know, almost certainly not going to be. So yeah, I just thought I'd explain that in a video, so it's kind of condensed. Yeah, I guess that's all that there really is to say about it. That you will expect your set point to be higher if you were under 25. So yeah. So my parents came and moved out like half my stuff yesterday when they came to visit my exhibition, and the day after tomorrow my dad's coming to get me and the rest of my stuff, and then I'll be leaving Manchester for good. It's kind of bittersweet, I suppose. I mean, I've never liked Manchester, and so going home is, you know, a good thing for me. I want to be back in the countryside and everything, but obviously I have made friends here that it's going to be really sad kind of like leaving and not seeing them for like ages, because, you know, I don't know when I'm going to be back in Manchester, when I have the money to come back all the time, and so that sucks. But I am really looking forward to going home. So yeah, as usual, I hope everybody is having a good week. That they are you're continuously challenging your eating disorder, and hopefully winning battles, and yeah, taking steps to winning the war. Yeah, I hope everybody has a good rest of their week, and I will talk to you next week.